Family, how are you? Welcome to my space. Welcome to Intimate Conversations with Isa Favored. It's good to have you here. I tell you that I love those words. It's good to have you here. We're having another conversation. We are slowly getting into the festive season. The festive mood is here. And you know what festive season goes with? Festive season somehow goes with spending. Like we want to spend money. I don't know, we just get excited. And sometimes budget doesn't budget. It's just not enough. And. So I thought, you know what, let's empower each other. Let's just make sure that we are sound, we are okay, during festive season, we spend within our means. Because there's also a whole lot of people who are out there who want to make sure they make you spend. Yeah, one. So have you subscribed to the channel? If you have not, let's sort that. Let's do the admin. Let's do the admin. Make sure that you go to the subscribe button. Make sure that you click notification button so that we get that out of the way. And then if you have, thank you so much. And tell somebody to do the same so that we can grow together. Let's do that. So I thought the other time I had Akhona from the National Credit Regulator, remember? And I got some feedback. People were like, oh, thank you so much. We were so empowered. So I thought, let me call him because I did say I'm going to have him back. So I thought, Akhona, come, let's talk. Now I want us to talk this unregistered credit provider. We want to talk about that today. Ne? But before we go to that, Akhona, welcome. You see me, I'm going on. Welcome to, and thank you for agreeing to come on a Saturday. Because we're pre-recording. So he's working on a Saturday so that we can, you see how much we love you, Mara guys. Welcome, Akhona.
Good afternoon, Sis Nomsa, and good day to your viewers. Thank you for having me again. It's a lovely Saturday in Gauteng. It's warm. I think it's about 25 degrees today. Yeah. So we are fresh, we are here. We want to impart this knowledge. So ngumsebenzi wethu lona. Weekend in, weekend out, we are here.
We're making sure. Yeah, we're making sure. I'm sure we are a family now. Now you're part of us. We're one big family. We're making sure that we all are together and we are one. So, okay, I must say, if you have not watched our previous conversation, go and watch it. But let's remind people. In brief, credit NCR, the National Credit Regulator. Let's do a refresher of people. Who are you and what do you do?
Thank you, Sis Namsa. We are a government entity under the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. Our aim is to ensure that we regulate the credit industry. Yithi laba abaphethe udaba lezikweleti kulomkhandlo wezikweleti. Mawufuna ukwazi anything ehlangene nezikweleti from the banks, from the retail shops, your pawn shops, your small machonisas, your big machonisas, yonke nje indawo ebolekisa ngemali or where you buy on credit. We've got clothing accounts, we've got furniture accounts, we've got appliances accounts, sinama credit cards, we've got personal loans, sinezindlu, sineyimoto. Most of the time, we can't buy these things on cash. Therefore, we decide to buy on credit. Unemoto, you are being overcharged on interest rates. You want to buy the assistant. Unemoto that they want to repossess without following due processes. We are here to assist you. You are put under debt review without knowing what it is or mhlamba repercussions. We are here to assist you on all those things. We are here to assist you on those things. Kunabantu ababolekisa ngemali that are charging you excessive interest rates. They are taking your bank cards, SASSA cards, your ID cards and other things. We are here to assist you free of charge. We are blacklisted, unamaganishi orders that you do not know ukuthi afike kanjani ku-employer. We are here to assist you free of charge. So anything that has to do with credit, we are here to serve you. You can just send us your complaints, then we can assist you free of charge. Also, we want people to be very cautious when it comes to these issues. Zabantu abathi bazonimcimela iyikweleti on social media, you need to click a link. Then
Yes.
uzithola sewusenkingeni. Kunabantu abakuthumelela ama-SMSs, but they are going to save you a huge chunk of your installments. You need to be very careful. We are here. Kunabantu abanifonelayo but you are being overcharged on interest rates. We are here to tackle all those things. So also what we want people to know, Sis Nomsa,
Yes.
we do not have any social media accounts. We do not call consumers to sell or advertise to them. We don't pay izikweleti zabantu. We don't give discounts. So they need to be very cautious and very careful because kunama-scams la ngaphandle. People are losing thousands, hundreds of thousands. Bazitshela ukuthi bazophuma ey'kweletini kunabantu abazobacimela iy'kweleti. So they need to bring all those issues to us so that we can resolve them.
Okay, so I just want us, there's something you've just mentioned now. NCR does not have a social media account. So anyone who gets NCR good social media, know that it's not you. It's fake.
It's not us, it's Nomsa, it's fake.
It's fake news, ne? So let's get that. So don't fall for this, cause don't fall for that, ne? Now you've said you've summarized a lot of what you do, and I want us to go to that one, and I want us sometime in August and in September, right? You guys working together with SASSA, Nihambile, Nayoshona in Northern Cape. What was that all about? Because you mentioned SASSA, you mentioned where your SASSA cards are taken. Let's talk about that. What was happening in the Northern Cape? Because I take it that as much as Nifocus in Northern Cape, it was not the Northern Cape issue only. So let's talk about what you guys did in Northern Cape.
Sis Namusa, just maybe a brief of a background on that.
Yes.
The National Credit Regulator, in terms of the National Credit Act 34 of 2005, has a duty to investigate all contraventions of the Act. And also enforce the Act as well, because we do not only act as a monitor to our registrants, but also as a regulator and enforcer of the Act. So we do receive complaints from different provinces, from different consumers to say, kunabo mashonisa abaningi where we are staying, and they are exploiting us. They are overcharging us on interest rates. Basithathela amakhadi nama-IDs. This is a norm, if you can check kuma societies where we live. And our consumers don't see an issue with them. You know, sometime this week, I was watching a TV production where callers or consumers were given a chance to call and comment. We were talking about mashonisas on TV, and they said, we choose mashonisas because they are more convenient to us. You can go to them at 12 a.m. and borrow money, and they will give it to you. That needs to be rushed to hospital. They will give you the money without asking further questions.
Without any attachments, without asking for any attachments, send us your 3 months bank statement.
That's how they see the mashonisa industry. But they do not look at the long-term effects and the consequences as well. When they are being overcharged on interest rates. The issues of card retention, the issues of ID retention, because the ID yakho mayihleli kumuntu, that's very dangerous. Also, when you have your SASSA card that is with someone, especially abantu abadala, you do not even remember how much you borrowed from the mashonisa. So you get to pay the money for years. I know I come from the villages in the Eastern Cape. It's a norm. Uyafika uboleka imali ube uyayibhatala then uyathatha again. Kusho ukuthi lapho ngeke uphume ey'kweletini. I'm here to pay, please give me another one. Then it's a cycle. We are forever indebted to that mashonisa. So we've received a lot of complaints from the Northern Cape, specifically in DR,
Mm-hmm.
where we had to go and see what's happening. Because as the National Credit Regulator, we conduct proactive and reactive investigations and
Okay.
enforcements, where
Mm-hmm.
we just do random checks and raids, and also react on complaints that we get from consumers. So there were complaints from the Northern Cape, and of course, with collaboration with SASSA,
Yes.
SAPS, and Hawks, we had to intervene and act on that. So that was on the 2nd of September, where we went there and we were able to arrest about 7 suspects.
Oh.
That is the business people, the machonistas in DR. We were able to confiscate around 81 bank cards.
Yo.
There were also SASA cards as well. There were more than 10 ID books. And also on the 6th of August, we were in Loxton, in Northern Cape as well, where we arrested about 6 suspects, which shows or comes to show that this is a rich and wealthy industry.
Industry.
Industry,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Are raking in money. And in summary, we confiscated around 71,000 rands in cash. That was
Yo.
the cash that was confiscated from the Mashonisas, which comes to show that this industry is rich, but we just need people to comply. We are not saying to business people that they cannot become Mashonisas, but we want them to operate within the ambit of the law.
Of
They
the
must be
yes.
registered with the National Credit Regulator. They must get the licenses to operate. And also, they must provide credit on regulated interest rates. You know, there's nothing that talk about 50% on our act. Because when we talk about short-term loans, which is any amount less than 8,000, we talk about
Yes.
5% and 3%. But now our people are being exploited. They are being overcharged around
Yes.
50%, 60%. Some even are charged 100%. And they also retain all those instruments, such as your IDs, such as your bank card. So this is why
Yeah.
we had to conduct the raids. This is not just Northern Cape, of course.
Of
The past
course.
few months, we were in Emalahleni, where we conducted raids with Hawks, of course, and SAPS. And also there we arrested some suspects and confiscated many bank cards, many loan books, and money as well. So this is something that we do reactively and also something that we do proactively around the country.
Okay. Of course, that is it's something that is across South Africa. It's not something that happens only in the two provinces or areas that you've mentioned, but you find it across South Africa where. So what you are saying as the national credit regulator is that anything, any business, any person that you're gonna go to borrow money, if they take your ID, if they take and retain it, they take. So after you've borrowed money from them, you no longer have possession of your either your ID or your bank card. That is not regulated.
That is correct, Sis Nomsa. But you know, it's not only the unregistered lenders.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, the contravention of the act is across all credit providers or
Okay.
almost all credit providers. You'd find credit providers that are registered with us conducting the same behavior, which is illegal, in the name that they are registered, because some just register to conform or to
Yes.
comply. But when
Yes.
you check and do thorough check and proactive enforcement of the act, then we do find that some of the registrants that are registered with the NCR are practicing the same misbehavior. But for consumers to be safe, we always say, before you borrow money, do your own due diligence. Check if they are registered with the National Credit Regulator, and also if they have the certificate that is legit with the National Credit Regulator as well. And
Okay.
also, what we request from them is to ensure that they insist to the credit providers that they conduct the affordability assessment to see if they will indeed be able to pay the money back. Because if they do not conduct the affordability assessment, then that means the company is conducting business recklessly, and also they
Yeah.
are borrowing money recklessly, which of course is also the contravention of the act, which is why we are indeed conducting these raids to see all types of contravention of the act. Because if you lend money without conducting affordability assessment, you are not registered, you are retaining cards and other instruments, and also overcharging people on interest rates. Therefore, that is contravention of the act.
Okay. But I take it that one of the examples that you've mentioned earlier on is that our people are saying, we're saying it's instant cash that I will have when I have a situation. How do we balance that? You see, because when somebody has a situation now, these people have seen a market where they say, oh, there's no need to do affordability tests and all that. So they go that. So as we are cautioning our consumers, we're saying, no matter how desperate you are, be real. Because also what happens is, you may find that those that do the affordability, a person can lie. The consumer can also lie and say, out of 3,000 that I get paid as a helper, my commitments are only 1,000 rands. So how do we balance the two where the consumers are also not telling the truth? What message do we want to give to them, even as we try to protect, not necessarily protect, but to say these other, the business people have seen a market and they say, whoo, I'm going to capitalize on the market.
Of course, there is a market within the credit space because many people do not qualify for loans from banks. And we always say to people, if you do not get the loan from the bank, that does not mean the bank is being petty or um, um, is trying to discriminate against you. It is at the discretion of the bank to give you the loan because they see that you are their target market, you are their appetite. And if you are not their appetite, then they won't give you the money because they have done their own assessment and they see that now the chances of him or her paying us back are very low, so we can't grant
Yes.
the credit. So many people often run to the machonistas to try and get this credit easily. So, firstly, let me try and caution and make balance as well for machonistas as well. You know, recently we have issued a media release to say um, at times as a machonisa, when you grant a loan to someone, that can end up as a gift. Because if I don't pay you back, then it's a gift, and there's nothing you can do. And you know, in isiXhosa, we always say, if andinayo imali yakho, I would say, yikhuphe emzimbeni ke because andinayo, ndibethe. There's nothing I can do. Ngoba ayikho,
Yeah.
ayikho. That becomes a gift because you have gifted me 1,000, you have gifted me 2,000, and I can't pay you back. And you know very well that I don't work. Where do you expect me to get the money to pay you? So, but if you are a registered lender, then you're able to get that money back easily through debit checks. If someone is working, or a debit order. Also, if they do not pay, then you can negatively list them. Then that would affect them negatively. Then they cannot
Yeah.
borrow money anywhere anymore because they are bad payers. But for us, as consumers that are borrowing money from registered credit providers, we always caution consumers to say, do not lie when you go and borrow money or when
Yes.
you make a credit application. Please do not understate your expenses because if you understate your expenses, then the bank will grant you credit because you have misrepresented your
Yourself.
salary, you
Yes.
have misrepresented your expenditures, then you've got more disposable income at the end of the day, then you would qualify for a loan. But 1 month or 2 months down the line, then you may not be able to pay back that loan because then the reality kicks in that you did not qualify for the loan from onset and you did not afford the loan from onset or inception. So I would say, please, please, please be open and disclose all your expenses. If you do not get the loan, then you do not get the loan because you do not qualify. Let's not be dishonest. That is why I was talking about reckless lending. Because if a bank gives you a loan in the impression or at the impression that you are able to afford the loan, then
Yeah,
that
yeah.
becomes reckless lending. And also at times the banks as well and or the bank consultants and the consumers collude, trying to beat
Yeah.
the system and understate the expenses. Akhona
Mm.
Mata, at my age, I can't say I only spend 500 on groceries. There's no way. We live in difficult times, tough times, where you spend lots of money on groceries, and also you've got kids, you need to rent or you need to pay your bond, you've got a car, you need to pay fuel, and any other expenses. So you can't understate expenses. You are a family of five, and you can't say you spend 700 rands on groceries. That's a lie.
Yeah.
You are understating your expenses. So we need to be honest. We need to disclose all the expenses so that if we can't get the loan, then we can't get the loan because that's the reality of things. So let's be honest and borrow money when we need it and only borrow money from registered credit providers.
Yes, because as you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, at the point when somebody goes to make a loan, it is because things are tough. But I love what you said now when you say borrow money because you need it. Don't because and that's why I said we're going into the festive season. Some people are gonna borrow money just to go and buy choice assorted biscuits and you know, because you are Akhona, you are working in Gauteng and you're going home to the Eastern Cape. So as you're going home, you used to be the buyer mureki that they know that if Akhona comes home, uza netro ne moto igcwele. Uyabona? So those are some of the things. So we're saying if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Be real with yourself so that ungazitholi borrowing money unnecessarily so.
That's correct. That's correct, sis.
Yeah, yeah. So we just need to make sure. So one of the things you spoke about was the issue of check when you are going to borrow money, whether even if they've got the NCR, check what that the rate they are charging you. So Uber engage. That's what you're saying. That as a consumer, engage with the people, with the bank or the business that you've gone to borrow money from, so that you check what is the acceptable rate. If you are unsure, contact the NCR.
That is correct. You know, sis, Nomsa, I think the past few weeks back, the repo rate has fallen down to
Yes.
8%, and now the prime lending rate is 11.5%, which means the credit has now become a bit cheaper. You know, we always say credit is very expensive, or now it has become less expensive by 25 basis points. So we always say to people, when you go and borrow money or when you make a credit application,
Yeah, yeah.
please negotiate for lower interest rates.
Right. Okay.
Always use your credit report or your credit score as a weapon to fight that. If you've got a good credit score, you can get the minimum prime lending rate, which is 11.5%. Tell
Yes.
them that
Yes.
the 20% that you are giving me for a personal loan is too much. I can't pay that because my credit
Yes.
report here is very good. The credit profile or my credit score is very good. I want to get the minimum interest rate. Do not just be excited because now bank manje say it approved. So
Approved, eh?
uyajabula, you are excited. And we've got this issue kakhulu sis Nomsa, in the motor industry
Yeah, yeah.
or in the vehicle financing industry, where people are so desperate to buy cars. But when they go to the dealerships and they get all these quotations from different financing houses, you'll get Bank A saying we will give you 18%. Bank B, we are giving you 15%. Bank C say we are giving you 14%, which is still considerably high. But you can still negotiate and say, the one that is giving you 14, how about you give me 12? Because
Yes.
my credit score is good and I want 12 fixed interest rate. Or at least give me 11.5% variable interest rate. then you know you'll be paying lower interest rate. But the issue that we have, especially with us black people, not to try and isolate things or discriminate against my own fellows, but I know
Yeah.
I've seen so many on TikTok. There's a page there, I think it's Usizi Lomuntu Omnyama. Many
Okay.
people are paying excessively high interest rates on vehicles.
Oh,
You'll see a very
yes.
small car that can be pushed off the road by a truck or a wind. But they are paying around 8,000 for that car. And you have to
Mm.
ask yourself, how did this person agree to that percentage? Because if it means you are paying 7,000, then there's still a balloon payment that is
Yeah.
waiting for you at the end of the term. That means
Mm.
that's a bad financial decision because you've made that decision to buy that car. And you've got an
Mm.
obligation to pay that car for 72 months. Then after
Mm.
72 months, you still have to pay a balloon payment. How
Yeah.
did you come to that decision? That is why we
Mm.
call upon people to say, come to the NCR if you need any assistance, if you need any
Assistant.
advice. We are
Mm.
here. You can say, Akhona, I'm thinking of buying a car. What can you advise me? Can I buy a car with balloon payment? Can
Mm.
I buy, I think they call it GVF, a car with guaranteed future
Guaranteed
value,
future.
GFV?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Is
Yes.
that good, Akhona? Can you advise me to buy that car in that aspect? What are the consequences? Akhona, I've
Yes.
got this car and I can't pay this car anymore. And if I default on my installment, they are going to repossess it. What's the
Mm.
best way
Mm.
to get out of the mess without
Mm.
necessarily having to pay an outstanding amount? There's section
Mm.
127 of the Act that is saying, surrender your goods. You have a right to just take the car back to the financer if you can no longer afford to pay it. Then they will take the car and sell it at an auction. Then they will cover your loan. Then you go scot-free, or you've got a smaller amount that you still need to pay towards the car. Instead of
Yes.
having it repossessed. Because if they
Mm.
repossess it, they are going to sell it next to nothing. Then you'll
And you
still be
still owe
liable to pay
them.
the outstanding. You still owe
Yes. You
them a lot
still.
of money. And many
Yes.
of us, Sis Isa, I want to emphasize on this because people have had their cars repossessed and they've never followed up after repossession. They do not even know how much those cars were sold for. But then
Mm.
the bank come after a few months to say, Akona, you still owe us 150,000. Because you did
Mm.
not follow how much the car was sold for, then now you are left with this big chunk of money that you still need to pay. So we are saying, if you know you are going to default in the near future, you no longer need the car, go through section 127. We are here to assist you. We can take you through the process so that you can
Mm.
avoid all the admin, all the court cases or the court judgments. And also,
Mm.
um, if you have had your car repossessed in the past, that will appear on your credit report to say you've had your car repossessed in the past. And we
Mm-hmm.
always say
Mm-hmm.
to people, don't take these shortcuts. I always say to people, even if you say, no, I'm not going to pay this bank because in the next 3 years, anyway, the account is going to prescribe. The credit record will show that you had a loan with Bank B and you did not pay them
Mm.
for certain months and the loan had prescribed. Then, when you want to borrow money from Bank C will say, no, you are not paying your dues on
You
time.
are not. You are
You
not a faithful person. Yes.
All right. So you were saying, Akhona, just so that we also wrap it up. And I love that, yes, as much as we're talking loan sharks only, but we want to empower our people in totality. So here I am, I'm paying this car, but somehow I'm unable to continue with my payments. I have a choice of going to the bank and handing over the car. What happens when I do that? When I hand over, then they will work it out and say how much is the value of the car versus what I was still supposed to pay. Then I'll be liable for that difference, which may then probably reduce whatever installment that I was paying, right?
Okay, there's a process in terms of Section 127, Sis Isa. You need to write to the financer, which is the bank.
Mm-hmm.
You need to tell them that you are intending on surrendering the car, then they need to respond to you within 10 business days. Then
Okay.
they need to come to your place to assess and
Okay.
give you the value of the car to say, this car is now worth 105,000,
Mm-hmm.
but you still owe us 150,000.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if we take this car and sell it at an auction, then we'll put it at a reserve price of 105,000.
Yes.
Then if it
Yes.
sells at 105,000, then you still owe the bank
The
45,000.
balance. Yes.
But you know, with auctions,
Mm-hmm.
anything can go further up.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it can sell at 150,000, then they'll have to terminate your credit agreement, then you no longer owe them. And
Okay.
if fortunately it sells more than 150,000, then that
Mm-hmm.
means there's a profit. And then they need to give you the profit that was made from the auction. If it
Okay.
sells at 155,000, 160,000, then they must give you your 5,000 or your 10,000 because that's the profit that was made from the auction. So
Okay.
you don't just take the car back to the financer. You need to write to them and tell them you
Okay.
want them to take the car back. Then if you
Mm-hmm.
agree, then they will take it. Then if you do not agree, then you can just continue and keep the car. But now this is the trick. If
Mm-hmm.
your installments are not up to date, then
Mm.
you cannot use Section 127 because you have already defaulted. Therefore, you
Okay.
cannot
Okay.
negotiate for them to take the car back because now
Mm.
that can just be considered as repossession. Because
Okay.
if you
Mm-hmm.
default on your installments,
Mm-hmm.
then the bank has the right to come and issue you with Section 129, which is the intention to repossess. Then
Mm.
you must make
Mm.
an arrangement to pay the car. And if you do not make any arrangement or pay the balance owed within 20 business days, then they can come and repossess.
Okay.
So, surrender of assets is avoiding repossession.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think we've empowered you because, yes, we are grateful that the interest rates have gone down 0.25 basis point, and we are hoping that with the next quarter meeting, they will also reduce it and all that. But things are still a bit tight. So if you're still feeling tight, you have this option that you can explore. The National Credit Regulator offices are available to be able to assist you and give you all the necessary information. Akhona, as we go towards wrapping up, so festive season is almost here. We are saying spend wisely. Don't just spend and go and borrow money. What is the word of advice from the NCR to the intimate conversation family? What are we saying to them and whoever will come across this conversation?
Sisisa, we are very excited. Next month is Black Friday.
Maybe,
So,
maybe, yeah, 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 yeah.
so the spending fever is amongst us. So
Yes.
we will be spending, we will be buying appliances, furniture, we'll be buying
Mm,
clothes, we'll be buying lots of things. My
mm,
advice to the family of Issa Favored is to say, as we approach the festive fever, let us open our eyes. Let us be very vigilant on prices, which is
mm,
one thing. I always, when I give advice to people,
mm-hmm,
to say, from July,
mm,
you'd find a very nice couches or sofas at
mm-hmm.
15,000 rands. But as we
Yes.
go and approach November, the prices go up.
Like
Uh,
kanjani?
then, then you'll get that couch in December or November at 21,000.
Yes, that's
Then they
true.
will say, now it's Black Friday. The couch is 16,000
Yes,
with a discount of 5,000. Then you
yes.
buy it thinking that you are getting a discount, but you're not getting any discount. You buy it in
Mm.
November at 21,000. Then in January, the price goes back to the normal
To
price,
the normal price of
which shows
15.
because it's that fever. At some point, you even find it in grocery stores. You'll find a cooking oil that is worth 25 rands. To say, if you buy three, uh,
Yeah.
or for 80 rands, you get
Yes.
three for 80 rands.
Yes.
But one is 25 rands, which means you should get three for 75 rands. But when you get home,
Yes.
when you calculate, you say, Marang, do I 5 rand mos lapha? Ngingevele ngathi no, I don't want them in a bulk
Let,
of three.
I want
Ngifuna
one,
ukuthenga
one, one.
one. Yeah,
Yes,
then therefore
yes.
you get the normal price. That's a reality because that's how they work. The retail stores, the furniture stores, the clothing stores. Uzobona iteki lapha bekuyi-2,000 ngo-July. But now ngoNovember uzothola le teki sekuthiwa i-discount from 2,500, it's now 1,999, which is the normal price. Nothing has changed. Yeah, because it's the
Yeah.
trick of the retail, it's the trick of the business. People are trying to make money. And you'll see, if you can check Namanje, a report of the money that was spent on the last Black Friday, the banks will tell you, Guti, Bank A, our consumers or our account holders spent 20 billion good Black Friday ka 2023. You'll check this year, kuzothi abantu baspende 45 billion kuleyo bank leyo during i-Black Friday, which means abantu bayasebenzisa kakhulu imali. But let us buy things that we need. That is point
Yes.
number one. Because we tend to buy things that we do not need. I know abantu abangomama, they will buy impahla. They will never wear them because they just bought them because they were on Black Friday.
It was on
Uzothenga
sale.
izicathulo,
It was on
uzitshela ukuthi
sale.
uzozigqoka, but awusazidinga, awusazifuni manje le y'cathulo. But I always say, let us buy things that are not easily disposable. Mhlawumbe izinto zokuklina uzibeke lapha egaraji, mhlawumbe ukudla ama-canned food azingamoshakali quickly. Then you know but you can still use them na next year. Insipho
Yes.
yokuwasha impahla, izinto ezinjalo that you can use them. So let us not be caught by the fever lena ye-festive sigcine sesiboleka imali because
Yeah.
at times, because if your Black Friday is on the 25th of the month, and we are getting paid on the 30th of the month, therefore, imala unayo, you will go and use your credit card. And when you use your credit card, does not mean it's money that is sitting there. You are
No.
borrowing money from your bank
From
to
the
go and
bank.
buy things that are on discount. And when you buy
Yes.
things that are on discount, buying them on credit, you are not getting any discount because there's money that you are paying towards the credit. There are fees. For an example, there's registration fee, there's monthly service fees, there's credit insurance, there's interest as well. If you tell it TV, now you TV yes 7,000 rands, but now it's on specially 5,000. Then when you take a credit card, you're taking a credit card. You do not save any, and there's no discount because my we coca at the end of the month. Then also coca layer 7,000, but we discounted in 2,000.
Exactly. Yes.
And
Yes.
also let us borrow money from registered credit providers only. Ungayoboleka imali kumashonisa to buy ku Black Friday.
Okay, you've heard it, family. You have heard it. I don't think we could have made it any clearer than what we have spoken about today. As we're getting excited about the festive season fever and all that, I love what Akhona was saying. He says, be price vigilant. Check. Don't get in at the shop and then you're getting excited and you say, hey, it's on sale. Hey, they'll play you, these shops. They will play you. So be vigilant. Make sure that you check. Visit 2-3 shops before you buy so that you can be sure that really that is the price that is being sold for. And let us just make sure that if you really have to borrow money, borrow it from registered credit providers so that you can be sure that all things are done within the ambit of the law, because wow, and we want to make sure that we don't find ourselves so deep into debts that we don't even know how to swim. I hope that you have been empowered. I hope that you will share with somebody, because one thing that I always say with loan sharks is that once you go into one, it's like you've opened a door. I see a lot of people going deeper and deeper into that space, and we just want to make sure that you are protected. If you're unsure, go and talk to the National Credit Regulator. They will be able to intervene on your behalf and be able to assist you. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Tell somebody else to subscribe, and let's just all become one big family. Thank you for tuning in. And Akhona, thank you so much for your time. As always, I truly appreciate. We're not done. I told you that you're now part of the family, ne? So we're gonna do another one sometime again in 2025, because 2025 is around the corner. We're almost there. But thank you so much for coming in. People, your numbers, where can people get hold of you as NCR?
Thank you, Sis Isa. We can be contacted through our call center number, that is 0860 627 627, 0860 627 627. If you've got any complaints, kudala ukhokha isikweletu asipheli, you are blacklisted, you did not know ukuthi kwenze njani, uyaye ebhenki bakutshela ukuthi kune-flag egameni lakho, they cannot give you money, uqedile ukukhokha but abakunika ama-paid up letters, bathatha i-ID yakho, amakhadi, i-bank cards. You can report all those issues to us to complaints@ncr.org.za, complaints@ncr.org.za. Sis Isa, for those who want to invite us to come and conduct free workshops for them, emasontweni, ey'kolweni, private companies, societies, they can contact us ukuthi sizobayenzela ama-workshop mahala, as long as they promise us the audience. They can send us an email to workshops@ncr.org.za. That is workshops@ncr.org.za. And also they can remember that our services wethu are free of charge. You do not pay anything. If you get someone otubuye NCR and bafuna imali for any service, then you must report those people to us.
It's a scam.
It's a scam.
Thank you so much. And there you've heard it. You can call them. Society, a group of ladies or men, call them. They will come and give you information for free. Churches, schools, whatever. You can call the NCR. They are available to come and educate you so that you are aware. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us get into the festive season wiser and don't repeat mistakes of the past. Let's just be wise and make sure that we handle our money as wisely as possible. Until next time, do take care of yourself and tell somebody to subscribe to the channel, and see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.